So the last time you were with me, I was in the hills above Accrington because the truck was in the garage. If you watch that video, this warning light came on. Then we went in the garage to get it fixed. I picked the truck up, left the garage. Most of you, judging by the comments, thought the truck was fixed. But if you stayed to the very end of the video, the warning light came on again. I'll put a link now to that video just so you can see. So I picked the truck up. I'll not go over the issues with it because they're in the video. So I picked my truck, and as I got back towards the yard, the same warning light came up again regarding the air pressure, the brake pressure and faulty suspension. Because the garage was due to close when I picked the truck up, I drove back to the yard, and then the following morning took it back in, and I had to leave it with them because they obviously had to delve a bit deeper. So it had the new APU fitted, which we thought had resolved the problem. I think they repaired a couple of wires as well that were corroded or on the way, or had little bubbles in them when they looked into the loom. Right, so the following day I dropped it off. They looked at it, can't remember what day it was, but I left it with them till the end of the week. Then a couple of days into the following week, got a phone call to say obviously nothing wrong with the APU because a new one had been fitted. So that made me think that maybe the old APU was alright because the fault had come on again. And the fact it had a new APU fitted, they're a few £100, but I think things like that sometimes are, if you have a new one fitted, I tend to look at it as preventative maintenance because the truck's 10 years old. I've had it 5 years. I'm assuming it's the one that's been on from new. And they're one of those type of components that after a while do start failing and do need changing. So I think after 10 years, the fact I've had a new one put on, I'd rather it not happen, but to save another issue in the future, having a brand new one on kind of puts your mind at rest. So that was new. So they looked into it again, and it's throwing up all kinds of daft codes. So my option was then, well, I'm not saying my option, what I got told was the garage thought it was a problem with the ECU, even though they'd done whatever they'd done before and I drove away and everything was fine. They thought that maybe it was an intermittent fault with the ECU. Now a brand new ECU at a guess thousands of pounds, and it's got to go to Scania to be programmed, and that's another cost, and you kind of need to weigh, you need to weigh your finances up sometimes. But they actually used a company that repair ECUs, but it's got to be sent away by, courier comes and collects it, takes it away, they look at it, if it, delve into it even further, take it apart, all that kind of thing, and then if it needs repairing, sometimes it's beyond repair. If it needs repairing, they'll repair it, send it back, but I don't know how long that'll take. So I said, right, go for that, because the other option was into Scania. So they sent it away. A few days later, they get the ECU back, and they couldn't find any faults with it. So then that meant it had to go into Scania because they've got newer, more updated diagnostic equipment that can look further into fault codes and things like that than a third-party garage. Because I believe there's certain things that Scania have on their diagnostic equipment that they keep, they'll not put it out there for independent garages to have. So it's got to go in there to get sorted. So they sent the truck, the ECU, into Scania. They checked it. Nothing wrong with the ECU. So while they were checking it, they actually updated the ECU to the latest programs. I don't know. I think what they do when they new, they've got certain things programmed into the ECU, certain tolerances for certain things on the truck, and as the trucks get older, Scania learn more about them and certain faults coming up. So when it's the same with your car, innit, you can go in, just have a software update on your car. Well, they can do the same with a truck. So they updated it with the latest software, and still no problems. So Scania were kind of saying, because it's not the ECU, the ECU looks fine, the APU's now fine, because we've negated the fact that it's a dodgy APU because I've got a new one on. It's a wiring fault, but it could be anywhere, you know, anywhere within that system. So it may need a new wiring loom, or you're going to have to rip it to bits and trying to find out what's wrong with it. Anyway, so I got the truck back again. Sorry, the truck went back to the people who look after my truck. They delved into it a bit more, found another couple of wires. Can't remember whether they said they were broken or split or corroded. And what I think what's been happening is I've been driving down the road, you know, and the truck's moving and things are flexing and one thing and another. I'll not say it's shorting out, but it's sending oddball signals everywhere, and I think that was the issue. So they found a couple of wires, repaired them, got the truck back, and it was all right for maybe a couple of weeks. And then, even though a lot of the time I'm full, I'm never maximum weight. I can have, you know, 16 pallets on and weigh 3 tonne, you know, that kind of thing. But a couple of weeks later, I picked a full load of IBCs up. I was fully loaded, and as I came out of this place, there was like a really strong camber outside on the road. So I went over slow, and then all of a sudden the warning light came on again, but it only flashed on and off for maybe 5 or 6 seconds, then went off. And then I went round a roundabout, just like 100 yards up the road, same thing again, as I'm wallowing around. And then I got on the dual carriageway, and it never came on again. So now, so that's got me thinking that maybe it is. I mean, it was a wiring fault, but maybe there's more wires that need looking at. Anyway, so I cracked on, and then maybe for another week, nothing happened. Fast forward, maybe a couple of more weeks into, let's say, the end of June. I get a job down to, it's either Newark or Grantham, I can't remember. So I got down there, got tipped, had another job booked, got on the A1, comes on again. But this time it's on permanently. And when I say permanently, I mean 10-15 seconds at a time, goes off for 10 seconds, comes on again, off, on, off, on. So I'm going up the A1, I'm paranoid, thinking I'm losing her, and I'm not. It's just some faulty wiring causing all these lights flashing on the dashboard. But due to the signals being sent round, I don't know whether something else is going to fail because things are sending the wrong signal. Anyway, so I had to cancel the load I'd got planned. Managed to drive back to, where did I drive to? Well, I drove home, rang the garage up, and they said, right, we'll bring it in again. Now this is Thursday. The following week, the truck was already booked in for MOT, and it was booked in for, the inspection was due that following week, so it was booked in for inspection, MOT, service, and all the pre-inspection type of things that the garage do, and I'd booked the week off. The plan was drop it off on Friday night, leave it with them a week to get everything sorted. I had another couple of jobs lined up as well. for them to do on the truck. Anyway, so it gets to Thursday, or Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. So I dropped it off Thursday morning to give them plenty of time to try and resolve this issue, because if they fire it in for MOT and these warning lights are on, it's going to fail. So dropped it off, left it with them, crossed my fingers, had a week off, passed the MOT, and then it's the problem. It's all related, and I can't put my finger on which one caused the major problem. So got the truck back. Since I've got it back, it's been fine. And what they did, they delved into the wiring again, found even more wires that were either frayed, corroded, I don't know. But while they were doing it, they also tested all the other electrics. They tested the alternator, they tested the batteries. The battery's alright, but had a faulty alternator. Oh, I forgot to say, because a couple of weeks prior, if the truck had been stood all weekend, this happened 2 or 3 weeks on the trot, truck had been parked all weekend, get in it on a Monday morning, fire it up, and I'd get a warning light saying alternator not charging. Then I'd leave it running for 10 or 15 minutes, that warning would go off and it'd be alright for the rest of the week. So I think, alright, well it should be fine, it's just one of them niggly little things, it's damp, it's this, it's that. But then it happened the following week, so now I'm paranoid about the alternator. So it went in, they tested it, so it ended up that the whole scenario was a mix of maybe a faulty APU, sending or receiving incorrect data with the ECU, faulty wires, and a dodgy alternator. So a few grand out of pocket now, I'm up and at it again. But luckily for me, and fingers crossed, I mean, all in all, I mean, I've always said I don't get into my own personal and the business's finances on it, but it was a few £1,000s all in all, because initially you go in, you have work done, you're paying for labour, people are doing this stuff, you think it gets repaired, goes away, it's alright, so something they've done has worked, and then it happens again, so they come in, they spend time looking at it. So all in all, with the MOT, because MOTs aren't that expensive. Just give us a sec, I'll have a look now on here. I've got my laptop out. Right, so MOT 113 quid plus an MOT lane fee of 45 quid plus £12.30 per axle brake test, and then everything else. I mean, I'll just give you an example. I'm only going through it because I've said before, some of you just watch for the sake of watching, some of you are genuinely interested in how much things could cost because you're thinking of buying your own motor. So let me just, so it went in, and all in all, while it was in the garage for that final time, we've got carry out pre-MOT inspection, repair a stone chip in the windscreen, which they've done every year for the past 3 years, repair a split mud flap, fit 2 new rear airbags, test battery voltage, test alternator, faulty alternator, check the tracking, front discs and pads. And I've not done too bad because I've never had discs and pads. I've had it 5 years, and even when I bought it, they weren't new. So that's just a one of them consumable things that you're going to have to pay for. Carry out service, carry out brake tests, headlight alignment, MOT wash. It needed cab mountings as well. Wasn't desperate for them, but I knew it needed them, so I just told them to get it done. And I had in the back the flooring. Some of the flooring had started working loose, and the screws had come out. So I asked them to re-secure the floor in the load bed. Also, I had a water leak in the load bed from the roof. So they've drilled out all the rivets, lifted the roof, sealed it, and then redone it. MOT wash, airbag, alternator. I mean, an alternator's 400 quid. Labour, well, it was £3 grand. Which is a lot just to pay out in one. But the truck's 5 years old, as I've said. This is the first time, I mean, I never even broke down. But this is the first time it's had to go into the garage for a fault to be investigated and repaired. Everything I've had in the past, I've had tyres, I've had a new wheel because that was corroded. I thought she had a slow puncher. Got to a delivery and the near side front was half inflated or half deflated, depending on whether your glass is half full or half empty. So went in, called the tyre people out. They couldn't find anything wrong with the tyre. Anyway, they had to get a new wheel, but a new wheel was cheaper than a new tyre. So I had that done. I've had a couple of batteries, routine little nicks and knacks, maybe on an inspection or prior to an MOT, you know, just tarting things up a bit, but never had a breakdown. So the fact I've paid, I mean, that was £3 grand, but prior to that I'd had to fork out for the APU being sent to Scania, going off for the ECU to be checked. So you're probably talking another 1,500 or £2 grand on top of that. So let's say £5 grand all in all, just through some warning lights coming on. Well, not through the warning lights coming on, that MOT, service, inspection, yada yada yada. So I'm up and running now anyway. So I just thought I'd clear that up, because at the end of the last video some of you thought it was fixed, and if you watch to the very end you'll see that it wasn't. So the other thing you find is, once you're paying out for things like that, other things start needing paying as well, because my insurance was due as well. So all of a sudden, your bank account goes from looking really, really healthy, and then just starts going down, 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 down. But luckily, we're at the start of summer, so it's relatively busy. You know, if this was the beginning of winter, I'd be stuffed. So that's that sorted. You've heard enough about that now, but it's just something to consider if you're getting, you know, that's why you need at least £8 grand when you look at your O licence. You submit your stuff, and you've got to have access of, I think it's £8 grand for your first vehicle, so they know that when you have issues like this, you've enough reserves to actually pay to have a roadworthy vehicle. So that was that. Right, what else can I tell you about? Hands up if you're from Canvey Island. No, nobody. What about you, Jet? Shout out to Jet, spoke to your dad. He's a really nice guy, isn't he? Very chirpy. Nice guy. So he wanted me to give you a shout out. So Jet, if you're watching, thanks for watching, and I'll just show you this clip now. You'll know who it is, nobody else will, but Jet, this is just for you. Something else I wanted to just waffle about for a minute. There's been a lot in the news recently, hasn't there, about fly tipping and all that kind of stuff, and just people chucking the shite out everywhere. So the other week I was on, I was going to Bangor, North Wales, and I parked in this lay-by. I'll show you the dash cam footage of it now, right? Talking about dash cam. Right, I've been sent, I don't normally do this, right, so just bear with me. And it was quite timely actually, because I'm due a new dash cam, because I've got the, if you've ever watched, this driver's talking. No. Right, if you've ever watched my dash cam videos, I think, is it a view from my dash cams? I can't remember what I've named them. I always used a Roadhawk dash camera, and it suited me. That's what they've all been filmed on, and I've had it donkey's years. And a few years ago, I think Roadhawk were bought out by someone else, and things changed, and it wasn't until recently when I tried updating everything I realised that the technology's old now, so there's no new updates. I can't even put, what you do, you get your SD card, because it's been in the dash cam, you put it in your laptop, go on the website, and you can do all your editing and updates and messing with your settings and all that kind of stuff, but it won't let you do it anymore. So it's just sat there, and I started thinking, I'm going to show you some footage in a minute from that camera regarding fly tipping. But what's frustrating about it is the main, for some reason, I don't know why, the main bit I wanted to show you says the file's corrupted. And for those that don't know, when with the camera and the dash cam and your SD card, they record in like 30-second increments, and everything's a separate file. So anyway, where am I going with this now? Yeah, so I'm thinking of getting a new dash cam, and just by pure coincidence, I got an ear. Like I said, I normally never do this because I'd just rather crack on and do my videos when I do a video. But because I'm due a new dash cam, pure coincidence, VO4 asked me to review one of the dash cams. I mean, I've not even opened the box yet. I'm not getting paid for it or anything. They've just sent it for me to do a review on. So let me know in the comments if you want to see a review. I'm going to do it anyway, but if not, I'll just send them the camera back. So let me know if you're interested in watching a video about that one, because it's, I'll show you quick. It comes with 3 cameras, because you've got your dash cam, it's got an internal camera that I don't like, so I'll never use. Might use them for doing videos, but don't tend to agree with all that privacy stuff being filmed while you sat driving. But it's got an internal one, because obviously taxi drivers, coach drivers, whoever, need them for inside to see which idiots they're dealing with. And it's got a rear facing camera as well, so I'm going to utilise them in the truck just to see what happens. And you know, even having one, I don't know, hanging outside to see if anyone's messing with my fuel tanks and stuff. We'll get to that when we get to them. Just move it so you can't see it. Yeah, so just let me know. So anyway, let's get into this one. So I'm going to Bangor, A55. There's been all stuff on news about fly tipping. So I'm pulling this lay-by, there's a truck in front of me, and as I'm sat there, the driver walks up, goes round the back, and I'll tell you what, I'll just show you now and tell me what you think. But just bear in mind, there's a beginning, middle and end, and for some reason the middle is missing because the file's corrupted. So that's why it might be the card, but that's why I'm getting a new camera. So the file's corrupted, but you'll get the gist of it, right? So let's just watch this.
Greg's has more than 2,500 locations across the world, so they are the biggest bakery in Britain. They are the staple of the high street. So yeah, they are very much a British item.
Can I just say, when Greg's are not paid this for increase, this is not a paid kind of trauma thing. It's just a really interesting story. When I leave here, what happens to me? To go over to that station as you.
Bang out of order that. You just seen him throw it out the back of his trailer. I've just been and told him to get out and come and get it, and he's telling me it's not rubbish. So how can it not be rubbish if he's thrown it in the trees? Hopefully I've got his reg number on there. Speaking to me in broken English, as you might expect, but I think it had Northern Irish plates on, didn't it? So it's probably going for the boat. That's bang out of order, that. If it weren't that big, I'd get rid of it. You know, if it were a bag of, you know, a placky bag with his dinner in it or something, I'd get rid of it, but I can't get rid of that. I thought that one in front was high waist for a minute, that's why I just had a word with him, but unfortunately not. It's just so frustrating, isn't it? Just makes me mad. There's just no need for it, especially when I even went and spoke to him. I mean, it says, I know I'm waffling on the video, but I was sat there and watching him, and he opens his back door, and then I see him grab it, and I think he's going to lob that anyway. So he gets out, gets it, chucks it in bushes. I get out, walk down. He's got his headset on, talking to someone back home in Eastern Europe. And I just said, get out and move your shit. I said, don't leave it there. You know, and there's the hand gestures, this, that and the other. And as I'm talking to him and trying to get him to come back, he drove off. But my plan was, if he wouldn't do it, I was going to grab it and chuck it in the back of his trailer. But he drove off and I never had time. So, oh, and I did get rid of it, even though it was that thing. I got a knife and popped it all and then got rid of it myself. But it's just so frustrating, isn't it? Just getting rid of your crap like that. especially there, because we're near the bottom of a slip road. It were quite blustery. Imagine you're blasting down A55, especially on your motorbike, and that comes blowing across the carriageway. People don't think of things like that. They just think it's a bit of rubbish. They don't realise what impact it can have on everybody else, rather than just being a piece of rubbish. But that's the way it is. Right, so that's it. That's just a bit of a, just so you know where I'm up to. I'll do the review of the camera, and then I'll chuck some more videos on, some more vloggy type videos. I'm currently doing quite a lot along this A55. I'm in Bangor now, and it's a couple of weeks after that video, doing IBCs kind of all over. Sure, I might have mentioned it to you before. I can't remember. And it's all hazardous, so it's money's not too bad neither. So I'll leave you with that, and I know I went off on a tangent again earlier, but you know what I'm like. So thanks for watching, keep it real, and I might put some links to stuff all around this screen now, just so you can delve in and have a look at some other stuff. So I'll catch you next time. Cheers, thanks.